Hello, and this video is on life and dreams. And you combine those together as we all move towards our goals and our dream life. There are great pursuits that we're on, but there are many things that come up. And what I've been learning with Laura Hollick about the shadow and her recommendation of reading Debbie Ford's book, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, is that there's a lot of different types of things that are stopping us, but when we actually understand them more, we can actually get a better in alignment with them. So this video is about understanding my shadow. I'm using the metaphor of video games, Atari 2600 kind of video games. So back in the day, back in the 70s, when there was pixels, this one pixel represented your character, a few more pixels represented your goal, and then just add some lines of pixels represented the path in order to get your goal. So if we were to think of our goals in the simplest form, it's easy to get to that goal, right? You'd look at there and just say, well, you just go forward and then you just get your goal. And then you complete the level, get some experience points, and you're done. Like it's that easy. Move on to the next one. But as many of us have discovered as we go for each of our goals, these paths, although they may seem like streamlined paths just to get there, it's not that easy. We move between them. Different priorities come into our life so we can focus on them, and just like in a video game, we have different saved games, so different completion levels that we return to on each one of them to know that, oh, I'm only 20% towards that goal, 80% towards that goal. But not as easy as a straight path as it seemed in the first example there. So why is that? What I've been learning from reading Debbie Ford's book, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, is that there's this little guy that popped up there. He's a sub-personality of mine. So we have these sub-personalities that have different mindsets of the way they see the pathway to get to that goal. So this sub-personality likes to over-complexify things. So his path actually looks more like this. It's very complex to get there. We've got to make sure that we go through all these routes, check all these different doors, and very, very time-consuming. So it's a different mindset than the original mindset of why don't we just go towards our goal. Add another personality onto this. This personality wants to be very organized and wants to do everything step by step. So it says, well, if we go step by step on here and we go up these ladders and we come down, we're eventually going to reach our goal. We just have to maintain that focus of moving forward and moving along these steps. So three personalities already conflicted with each other because they all have different ways of going about it. Why don't we add this fourth personality that I discovered that's there? It's just like, why even bother? It's so complex. Isn't life good as the way it is? And let's just stick with this. So you can imagine the conversation that's going on between all of them. Add another personality here that is basically saying, okay, so about this goal thing that we're going to. I just wanted to recap about where we've been, and all the time that you've spent in your life already going to school after you were born. Your career took up so much time there. You were spending so many hours there. Haven't we done enough work already? Shouldn't we get the reward already? And his attitude is conflicting with the other attitudes that are there. Another attitude that comes up every once in a while is the one that says, okay, I realize we're supposed to look back on all our wins. So these are a lot of the wins that we did, and these are the successes. So it's like a timeline chart for it, which I'm representing as a high score chart, which says, but I think we can do better. We can get higher than that score. So let's keep pursuing and going towards that. So conversation is getting even more like a wonderful mixture of soup now, isn't it? This conversation is the best. Why don't we eat something now instead, right? Aren't you hungry right now? Actually, you know what? Let's take a nap right now. Just take a nap and just chill. It'll just be all right. The other personality that once you get on a roll, hey, why don't we do some vacuuming with that Dyson, that really good vacuum cleaner? It's I know you're on a roll there with your presentation, but don't you want to clean the living room right now? So all these sub-personalities added together, you would think that the goal could be attained straight like that, as I was mentioning, right? But when you take all these sub-personalities into context as being part of oneself, so these are all part of me, Imagine all those conversations that each of those mindsets are having, and they say, okay, we're going to go after the goal. Let's go. So they start going, and where are they going? They're going all over in all these different directions. And yet, at that same time, you would think my blue guy can go straight up there, but no, he's interconnected to all these other subpersonalities. So he's being pulled to one another and validating what one person is saying and questioning what another one is saying, and basically a lot of confusion is going on, right? So what ends up happening is, until we understand these subpersonalities, they're going to feel like they're pulling us in all these different directions, right? So I decided, Debbie Ford suggested about meeting each of our personalities and giving them a name. So what I'm representing in this video is having tea with each of these personalities. So one at a time, I'll sit down with the subpersonality. It'll be a heart-to-heart talk about getting back to the love and saying, I'm not angry with what you're doing. You're saying it from a place of love, where you're just saying, how can we both get along together and use your best assets from your mindset and your personality so that we can both work together and actually create a movement towards the goals and the dreams that we all want to go to. So I will have chats with all of these personalities. I will have tea with them. I will understand them. I will find out the love behind it all, where I can just say, I understand you, and I understand why you're behaving that way. You know what? We can use that as part of the path to get towards our goals, and thank you for being that way. So as I see them as more as personalities that aren't trying to hinder me, but are actually trying to help me, it actually makes things come together more. And what they say about when you shine light on your shadow, you actually unify yourself. You become one. It's not that you want to get rid of the shadow, you just shine light on it and you see the light within it, so that you become unified. And now you can look at your goal, and with all these personalities together as one, you can move towards your goal and attain your goals with that understanding. The other analogy that came up for me when I was looking at this, I just thought, wow, with so many personalities like this, I love the multitudes of colors that are here. But can you imagine if we all work together and we actually become striving and using our muscles together like birds, flying and flapping their wings, so that beyond all these mazes, we can actually, as a unified team, fly like a bird. Through my shadow work, I thought it was grease that was landing on my wings, preventing me from flying, but I'm realizing that it's the unification of all these subpersonalities talking together that was actually what I had to get towards. When they were separate, that was like the grease on the wings. They were just going all over the place. So this has been tough work. I'm still working on it as I speak, but having this awareness that we can all work together, we can actually have that feeling and have that connection, much like when everything's working for you, you applied for a job, you went for the interview, you did great in the interview, and you feel like you're flying. That's because all your subpersonalities are working together. What a great feeling, isn't it? To be able to feel like you're flying towards your dreams and you're attaining your goals because of that. And what I've learned from the shadow work is that working with all these subpersonalities, we can actually have a common connection together where we find the best in each one of us and fly like a unified bird together towards my goals. Thank you for listening to this. I will leave that with you. Have a look at your personalities. I highly recommend the Debbie Ford book, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, and it's wonderful work. I thank Laura for her guidance and her clarity on this journey. It has been amazing. The shadow work is definitely tough because you really have to look at yourself and really face some of those sub-personalities, but it is unifying in the end when you shine the light on it and realize they are all part of you and they actually want you to attain your goals. I'll see you in another video. Thank you for tuning in. Namaste.